On this video, I want to do a brief inductive Akkadian grammar out of Hammurabi's law code, law number 60 or 266. And I'm reading from Borgor, the transliteration that he gives, that the Akkadian of that text. And then I'd like to just look at the grammar briefly. We begin with Shuma Ina Tur Lipit Elim. So let me just go back. Shuma, if, and then we have Tur, and before that, Ina. So if, in, and then Tur in Akkadian would be Tar Bat Sim, which would be in the sheepfold. So if, literally, in the sheepfold, we could render that. Then lipit, from lip to, if a, actually we could say, if a visitation or an attack, and then we have Ilim, I-L-I-M, and the Sumerian Dinger, capital D-I-N-G-I-R. So if an attack of a god, like, or I should say a visitation of a god would be a good way of rendering it, attack or a visitation from lip to. And lipit is in construct with Elim, like in Hebrew, two nouns in construct. And then we have it tab she, it tab she. It tab she, if an attack of a god has happened. It tab she is from the root bashu, and I'm understanding this as an NT stem with from the root bashu. So has been occurred or has happened, has been caused to happen. So if an attack of a god has happened, an NT stem here, and then we move on, ulu or ma. Ulu or ma, capital U-R-M-A-H, basically is the Sumerian for lion. And so we have ulu neshum. Neshum is the Akkadian word for lion. U is just your conjunction, and ulu would be or. So if a visitation of a god has occurred in a sheepfold, or in a sheepfold, a visitation of a god has occurred or has happened. Again, from bashu, to happen. And then we move to the next, iduk. So if a visitation of a god has occurred in a sheepfold, or a lion has killed, iduk. From daku is the root, and I'm understanding this as a GT preterite, third masculine singular from daku. So has occurred. If an attack or if a visitation of a god has occurred in a sheepfold and a lion has killed. And then the next word, re'um, is shepherd. And capital SIPA is the Sumerian word for. So basically, if this has occurred, then the shepherd, I think of the Hebrew ro'eh, meaning shepherd in Hebrew. Adonai ro'eh, or Adonai ro'i, the Lord is my shepherd. But anyway, if the shepherd, and then mahar before, and then we have elim, or dingel, the Sumerian, before a god, and then we have u'aba'ama, if the shepherd before a god proved himself innocent. I'm understanding this from the root abebu, to be innocent, and looking at the D stem from abebu, and as a ventive, and then the ma, the final ma, as a conjunction. So he has proved himself innocent. D stem with an ventive. Then the text goes on, but the owner of the sheep, in other words, has proved himself innocent in the presence of a god. The owner, but the owner, mikiti would be of the dead animal, from mikitu. So of the dead animal, and then we have tur again, or tar batsim, of the dead animal of the sheepfold. And here we have a genitive singular in im. Then be'el, the owner, from beilum, the owner, tar batsim. Again, tur is the Sumerian, so the owner of the sheepfold. Here we have the noun beilum in construct with tar batsim, from tarbatsu, meaning sheepfold again. So the owner of the sheepfold then shall receive it. That is, shall receive the dead animal that was killed by a lion, or that something happened in a supernatural way. Imaharshu is imaharshu from the root to receive, maharu, and so he shall receive it. And we have shu here as your pronominal suffix, third masculine singular. And that is a G present from maharu, followed by shu, the third masculine singular pronominal suffix, that he shall receive it. So if in the sheepfold an occasion or an attack of a god has occurred, or a lion has killed, then the shepherd before a god shall prove to be innocent, shall prove himself innocent, and then of the dead animal of the sheepfold, the owner of the sheepfold then shall receive it. So that would be my own grammatical analysis, inductive of the Akkadian of that particular law in Hammurabi. So I will stop there and